This is the investigation into the GPU cartels. Over 40,000 enterprise-grade units have vanished from the global supply chain. They don't appear on any official power grid map. The war for the future isn't being fought with soldiers, it's being fought with flops. Right now, a single hijacked shipping container is worth more than a ton of gold. If you think the AI revolution is happening in lines of code, you've been lied to. This is the investigation into the GPU cartels, the shadow organizations moving billions in raw computing power over forbidden borders. Stay until the end, or you will remain blind to the invisible wall that's currently deciding which nation collapses first. In 2026, the global engine has changed. We've moved from a world run on oil to a world run on compute. The most valuable asset on Earth isn't a barrel of crude or a bar of bullion. It's the NVIDIA B200 chip. To put this into perspective, we are seeing a demand to supply ratio that makes the 1970s oil prices look like a minor inconvenience. A single H100 chip is the size of a postage stamp. Yet on the black market, it currently commands a 300% price premium. Why? Because in 2026, intelligence equals compute times data. And if you don't own the silicon, you are functionally illiterate in the modern age. Because of the global export bans, frontier hardware, the stuff that builds super AIs, is now a controlled substance. And just like the prohibition eras of the past, when you make something illegal, you make it incredibly profitable. You might think this is about a few nerds selling gaming cards on the side. Well, it's not. In the last 90 days, over 40,000 enterprise-grade units have vanished from the global supply chain. But as you might expect, they weren't just lost, they were diverted. That is enough power to train a model twice as smart as GPT-5 in total secrecy. The question isn't even about money anymore. The question is, who is building the secret cluster and what are they teaching it to do? Let's break down how you'd actually smuggle a supercomputer. Because frankly, you can't hide a 10,000 unit server rack in a suitcase. Instead, the cartels used what are called shell compute centers. A fake company in a neutral zone, like Dubai or Vietnam, places a legal order for, say, a hospital research project. The hardware arrives, the paperwork is signed, and then the ghosting begins. The cartels strip the H100 boards from the heavy bases and relabel them as high-end car sensors or medical imaging parts. And here is the technical catch. The GPU by itself is just a fast calculator. To make it an AI brain, you need the interconnect. Think of it as a superglue that lets thousands of chips talk to each other at light speed, specifically the 8-way NVLink backplane. Smuggling the chips is easy, but smuggling these specialized connecting plates is where the real engineering happens. Cartels are now 3D printing their own cooling systems and forging serial numbers to trick the tracking systems built into the silicon. They aren't just thugs, they are elite hardware hackers. This hardware isn't just being moved, it's being hidden in plain sight. We have tracked illegal clusters to abandoned industrial cooling plants and deep decommissioned mines. These ghost data centers draw upwards of 50 megawatts of power. That's literally enough power to run a small city. But they don't appear on any official power grid map. They are the dark pools of the digital world. Now, a common question: why can't a rogue country just buy 100,000 gaming laptops, and build an AI? The answer to which is the language barrier. In a high-end AI, you need every chip to act as one single massive brain. For that, you need InfiniBand, a specialized networking technology that is much faster than the internet in your house. We're talking speeds of 800 gigabytes per second or more. The cartels have realized that the real money isn't in the GPUs themselves, but rather in the network switches. These are the traffic cops that manage the data flow. Without the switches, your 100,000 GPUs are just isolated, useless parts. In late 2025, we saw a paperwork collision, a high-level cyber attack that diverted a shipment of these switches meant for a European lab. The hardware vanished in North Africa. So, the math for a cartel is very, very simple. If you control the switches, you control the ceiling of what AI can actually do. Petty criminals can't just hack global shipping manifests. The level of sophistication we're seeing suggests that national spy agencies are now the ones running these smuggling rings. This is state-sponsored compute laundering. While you're worried about AI safety at home, your government might be helping move stolen silicon into the shadows to win the arms race. Well, at this point you must be wondering, how do you even pay for a $500 million illegal shipment? Because you probably wouldn't use a bank, they'd flag that in seconds. Instead, the cartels use USDT, a digital dollar, or something even more clever, compute tokens. They have created a new currency where the value is backed by GPU hours. One token is 1 hour of time with a top-tier H100 chip. This creates a closed loop. The cartel smuggles hardware, builds a secret data center in a mine, and then sells access to anonymous labs on the dark web. The money never touches the traditional world, and the GPUs pay for themselves in less than 6 months. The profit margins here are, I kid you not, 400%. That's literally higher than the illegal drug trade, and there's almost 0% chance of getting caught. It is the perfect 21st century crime. This isn't about getting rich, it's about the sovereign breakout. If a rogue group or an aggressive regime reaches AGI, artificial general intelligence, using this stolen compute, the world changes overnight. The cartels aren't just selling computer parts, they are selling the keys to global dominance. We are hitting the Silicon Wall. As the US and China add GPS trackers and remote kill switches onto the chips, the cartels are hitting back with hardware jailbreaking. In 2026, we are seeing the first unshackled firmware. These are hacks that allow the chips to run without any safety filters or government oversight. The result? AI models that are faster, more aggressive, and completely untraceable by the public. Is the convenience of your AI assistant worth the risk of a shadow intelligence being trained in an underground bunker? Let me know in the comments, and also see if you can predict which nation will be the first to declare compute martial law and seize every GPU within its borders. The war for the future isn't being fought with soldiers, it's being fought with flops, floating point operations. And right now, well, the shadows have more power than the light.